If someone offers you this drug at a rave, do not take it. Ever since last week, I have been having non-stop nightmares. It doesn't matter whether I'm napping or in bed for the night. Always, as soon as I drift off, I enter into a state of being where I am not myself. I move faster than cars while running on all fours and leap across buildings with ease. I hunt from the shadows, watching and waiting, filled by nothing, afflicted by an emptiness inside which feels like icicles stabbing within my stomach. When I finally feast, bones snap as easily as carrots, flesh pulls away like string cheese, and the taste. How do I describe the taste of memories shifting within the blood? In the moment of absorption, I become one with my meal. I am they. The emptiness temporarily relieved. However, I always begin to feel that same ache towards the end of the dream, when my soul starts to cross the liminal bridge once more. Then I scream. I scream and cry until I can't anymore. Because it all feels real, too real. I want these nightmares to end so badly that I would be willing to do anything to make them go away. But I fear it's too late. I fear that I have permanently fried my brain ever since I went to a rave last weekend. My name is May. I recently graduated from university and will be attending law school in the fall. I was never a raver or whatever you call it. In fact, I have always been known as a bit of a nerd. But what can I say? My parents are both immigrants, and they have very high expectations for their one and only daughter. I always tried my best to meet them. I scored at the top of my classes and never went to parties and never, openly, dated anyone. I did swim like they wanted and even learned the violin too. I'm a good daughter, a great one. But once, just once, I wanted to make a decision for myself. This summer was supposed to be the summer where I traveled and explored and had fun before committing myself to another 4 years of school. So when my father called and surprised me with the news, he had enrolled me in a summer prep course. I thanked him, hung up, and then cried until the tears wouldn't come out anymore. I beat the shit out of my squishmallows and slammed the door in my roommate's face when she asked what was wrong. Then I called my best friend Amy and told her I wanted to go to Lunar Harvest with her and the girls after all. I wasted no time once we arrived. I took some pill that Lily, one of Amy's on and off again lovers, brought during a set by DJ Fulcrum, and allowed myself to be free. Humming beams washed over my body as form dissolved and all became a pulsating mass of love and awe. We watched hand in hand as three-dimensional gods and devils composed of energy danced together to the backdrop of a whirling cosmos. I felt someone's lips upon my own and was lifted onto their shoulders. I laughed within that forest of Fae and realized that this is what it was all about. Love, connection, freedom. There were no barriers, only conceptual divisions. I saw clearly that all was one and should be one. At some point, I fell. I cried out in pain as I was stomped and kicked and eventually thrown. I crawled on my hands and knees past hooves and claws and bare feet until I reached open air. There, I found a mostly empty spot and started to sob. The trip was rapidly turning into a nightmare. I saw twisted faces warping on the wall of a porta-potty, and it felt like every pore on my body was opening and taking in all of the evil shit in the air. That's when the dealer found me. "Are you all right, little dragon?" asked a man with a raspy voice. "I'm really fucking high. It's bad. Can you call 911? I pleaded. My heart was racing and I was so thirsty it hurt to swallow. The man knelt next to me. Everything was so blurry I could hardly see him. "I've seen this before," he said softly. I blinked rapidly, the tears clearing up. "Am I going to be okay?" He chuckled. "Of course you will be. Judging by the dilation of your pupils, I'd say you're what, an hour away from coming down?" I started to cry again. Shh, here's some water." I tried to grab the bottle, but it slipped from my hands and landed on the grass with a thump. He gently picked it back up and held it to my mouth. "Drink slowly," he rasped. Cool water soothed my throat. I continued to drink until the bottle crunched in my hands. "What's your name?" I asked, feeling a bit better. "Depends on who you ask. I have many. You can call me Des," he said. I nodded and motioned for some more water. He opened another bottle and gave it to me. I looked up at him and squealed. He was well-muscled and bare-chested. A black sash wrapped around his narrow waist and continued down to his floor-length leather skirt. Silver charms and whirling pendants decorated the skirt, and little bells rang whenever he moved. His head was shaved bald, and he had beautiful black eyes. My type, certainly. But that wasn't why I squealed. I cried out because when he pulled his hood back, I saw that his mouth was stretched to inhuman proportions and stitched shut. It looked so real that I couldn't tear my eyes away. "Are you okay?" he asked, his tone flat. "Yes," I said. "I think the drug is still messing with what I'm seeing. Your face looks like Pac-Man's." Des reached for a baggie. In it were a ton of blue pills that were practically glowing. "Here, this will help the side effects of the drug you ingested go away." I looked at it hesitantly. More mysterious pills? I don't know. I'm part of the staff. I only look this way because it would break immersion if I had a uniform on, would detract from the whole night of horror thing. I was afraid and alone. That's why I took it. True to what Des said, I felt relief almost immediately. It would quickly become one of the worst choices I ever made. By the time Amy and Lily found me, Des was gone. He said there were others he needed to help, and after leaving me with another bottle of water, he left. I begged for them to take me home, and even though Lily was pretty annoyed, Amy agreed. My roommate, Christina, wasn't at the apartment when I stumbled in. I guessed she had probably went to stay at her boyfriend's for the night. I drank more water and took off the stupid dragon costume. My phone buzzed with a message from Amy, who was double-checking that I was all right. I replied to her and ignored the 12 missed calls from my mother and 2 texts from my father. I showered for a long while, allowing the warm water to soothe me before heading to bed. The first nightmare started with pain. I was propped up against a wall in some alleyway, and there was a large knife protruding from my chest. I blinked, confused, wondering who was feeling all that pain. Then I saw my skin, which was now translucent with a kind of greenish cast to it, twist and push the blade free. It bounced off the ground and landed next to a dark mound opposite of me. I moaned as what appeared to be tar leaked from my wound. A droplet fell to the concrete and sizzled. I slowly got up and rolled my shoulders. Where was I? And was I taller? My waist was level with the dumpster next to me. Normally, I had a hard time even looking into those things while on my tippy toes. But now? Distantly, I heard a song. Not one sung in words, but in warm, churning motions. It tugged on me, so I followed it up the wall and onto the sloped roof. A great white light met me there. I stared up at the moon and extended my arms wide, allowing her radiance to wash over my body. I felt so alive. The vast amounts of burning life in the city enveloped me, and I was aware of it all, down to the individual sounds of their beating hearts. I sensed Amy and Lily together, and briefly wondered if I should give them a scare. No, I thought. I liked Amy. Amy is my friend. "Help. Someone," said the man in the alley. I vaulted off the roof, a forked tongue dangling from my watering mouth. The last thing I saw before I woke up was the look of horror on the man's face. I would have chalked the nightmare up to a combination of the drugs and alcohol, but on that first night, when I went to go and throw up after recalling all those sensations of my dream self's dinner, I saw... fuck. I hate even writing it down. I saw teeth floating in the toilet amidst all the vomit. So if you go to a rave anytime soon, and someone offers you a glowing blue pill, do not take it.